What's up, Oilers? Welcome back to Faculty Fusion. I'm Diego.
I'm Andrew.
And our guest is...
Miss Zendejas.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So if you guys don't know who Miss Zendejas is, please give us a brief summary of what you do here at the school.
All right, so for those of you who don't know me, I am the choir director and as of most recently also the music appreciation teacher here as well. So yeah, do lots of singing and teaching how to appreciate music.
So do you have any hobbies outside of school that you would like to share with the show?
When I'm not teaching, if I have time, I like visiting different coffee shops. I love drinking coffee. I love going to concerts. And again, when I do have time, I like to play video games whenever I can put in a quick game or something.
What's your favorite genre of music?
I am a big fan of anything really metal. So I'll dive into the different subgenres of metal, specifically like there's post-hardcore, there's a lot of heavy metal in there, progressive stuff. So just really anything in that kind of range. But also outside of it, I like listening to a lot of synthwave as well.
How did you first get into metal?
So my sisters were like, they were going through like their goth phase at the time, because that's back in the early 2000s, that's what it was. Oh, I sound really old saying that. But that's what it was, and that's where I started kind of finding like my own like little identity.
Yeah.
So I started growing into that. Then they kind of left it because for them it kind of was a phase, and then clearly for me it really wasn't. So
It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. It's not a phase, Mom. So I kind of just stuck around with it, and it's kind of been who I've been since.
Who is the most influential artist for you?
Yikes. I don't know. So I guess when I first started getting into this whole like scene, it really first started when my sisters were listening to a bunch of System of a Down at the time. Like I was like 4 years old, and for some reason like I caught onto it, and I kind of left it for a little bit. I didn't really know what I was doing. And as I got older, I started getting back into, and this isn't even a specific artist, I really got into like the whole Warped Tour kind of scene as soon as I started leaving high school. So a lot of artists from that time, and kind of just shaped me really into like what I listened to. And nowadays I started to branch off a little more like outside, but I can't really pin it to a specific artist.
Do you have any favorite songs from System of a Down?
I'd say I'm a big fan of Lonely Day or Deer Dance. Those are probably the two biggest favorites.
Would you say you spend more time listening to music or playing games?
Music, definitely music, because I'll listen to it on the car, on the way to work, anywhere really I go. And even here at school when I have some downtime, whether it's music that I just listen to out of like, you know, things that I like, or music that I listen to because I'm going to get the choirs ready to sing something of that sort.
Which decade had the best music?
I think that really depends what kind of genre it is that you're listening to. So at least for the styles that I kind of stick to, I would say like that late 2000s, 2010s would be kind of like the year to be in that genre.
What's the scariest mosh pit experience you've had?
Oh, man. I know there was one, and it didn't happen to me, but this one girl, and it's not a mosh pit experience, she was crowd surfing, and someone didn't catch her, so her head was about to fall in like some like really rough concrete, and like the back of her head's a like danger zone right here, so instinct kind of kicked in, and I just like jumped in and like went like this with my hands, and like I caught her head, and I ended up with like bruised, bloody knuckles, but better than bloody head, I guess.
Have you ever gotten in trouble?
For like mosh pits and stuff?
Yeah.
No, not myself. But I'd probably say like the scariest experience was like when I was I was barely new to it, so I don't remember the specific band that people were moshing to, but I just remember this guy who was like 3 times my size just like violently shoved me into like the whole mosh pit, and I freaked out because I didn't know what I was doing. So somehow I just kind of like ducked down and like went through people's legs trying to like, crawl my way out. So,
How often do you mosh?
I think when the experience calls for it. So I tend to go to concerts pretty frequently. I would say at least sometimes it'll be twice a month, sometimes it'll be once a month, maybe like every 2 months or so. But I guess it really depends on the show. If I know I'm going to work like the next day, I'll probably play it safe and I won't do it. But if, it's a weekend, I don't have anything to do, I'll go in. So I wouldn't say that there's like a number of times that I go do it, but whenever it calls for it.
What's the most memorable concert experience that you've had?
Oh gosh, I've been to too many. I would say it would probably be Vans Warped Tour of 2019. Not particularly because of the bands or like any experience that I had over there, but just because it was kind of like the end of an era. This is when Vans Warped Tour was like closing out. They weren't going to do it anymore, so they did one more like run through of it. So I traveled all the way like Northern California for like a 2-day event, and it was just kind of like, all right, this is what I grew up with. This was kind of like my childhood, early adulthood, and here's like the closing to that chapter. So that's kind of what made it the most memorable.
Have you ever gone to Sick New World?
Yes, I have.
What was it like?
Extremely hot. It was so hot that day. There were people passing out from like heat exhaustion, but other than that, it was amazing. Just the whole experience of seeing like so many bands, some that I never got the chance to see, and seeing them all in one place with so many huge crowds. It was really surreal being there. So I love the whole experience, and luckily I get to go back again this time around. So I'll be there.
How often would you say that you watch movies? Like, you'll just go watch a movie. Like, how often?
I'm going to be honest, I'm not a big movie buff. I don't watch movies too often. I don't know, there's just... It's not that movies aren't good. It's just not my style to kind of sit down there and kind of focus on something for... At this point, movies are like 2.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the whole hour and a half they used to be. Back then, 2 hours was like a really big movie. But I particularly like more animation movies if I do watch a movie.
School of Rock or Scott Pilgrim?
I'll have to go with Scott Pilgrim.
Do you have any favorite animated movies?
You guys are really asking the hard questions today.
Just gotta dig deep into your memory to...
I don't think I have like really favorite animated movies. I mean...
The Minions.
Oh my god.
Ratatouille. Ratatouille.
Oh my god. I really, for some reason, like Big Hero 6. I love Baymax so much. That's kind of... I don't know why. I just do.
Yeah. Did you watch the show?
I watched parts of it. I didn't get to watch the show. But, obviously I watched the movie. I watched parts of the show. And then I'm very happy that at Disneyland they added the San Francisco. It's not like a whole big part of the park. It's just like a really small theme of like restaurants. But it's like kind of cool seeing the whole bridge. And then you see like Baymax's face everywhere. And then they brought back the Baymax balloons. Those things are like so cool. They're like this big. And they light up. So that made me happy.
Do you think they'll ever make a sequel to that movie?
Unfortunately, no.
No?
I don't think it needs one per se, but it didn't get the love from Disney and from the fans.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
What was your first viewing of Big Hero 6 like?
I'm going to be honest, I don't remember. I just know I like the movie, but I don't remember.
Are you looking forward for the MHA movie, My Hero Academia?
I kind of forgot there was a movie coming out,
Oh my god.
but the answer is yes. It's just my mind, as probably everyone else has been just surrounded with Attack on Titan and the
Oh,
ending of
my
it.
God.
So that was what everyone was on, and so was I. So, but yes, the answer to that is yes. Any movie coming out like that, I'm pretty excited for.
How'd you feel about Attack on Titan's ending?
It's not a happy ending, but I am content with it because not everything deserves that kind of happy ending. Because of the ending, I had to like rewatch the whole anime like all over again, which I did during Thanksgiving break. I didn't watch the whole thing, but like bits and pieces, and I just saw like all those bits and pieces of foreshadowing, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is intense and amazing.
Do you think Nintendo will ever make a Kirby movie?
They should, and I'll fund it.
Yeah.
What was the last movie you saw, like the most recent?
I think it was the Barbie movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think it was that one.
Good
It
taste.
was a good movie.
It was a good movie, yeah.
Did you love Will Ferrell? Did you like his performance? That's what I'm asking.
He had
Yeah.
a good performance, yeah.
What's your favorite song from the Barbie movie?
I mean, I think everyone really loves the I'm Just Ken number. There was like so much into it, like all the choreography, like the dancing, like oh my god, it was the biggest thing ever.
Yeah.
Especially for a Barbie movie, I did not expect that.
So, like, as a choir teacher, when you hear songs, do you just like instinctively analyze it?
Yes, and that's the downside to studying music. So even when I go to concerts, and this is the really bad part, so like the friends I go to concerts with, I'll turn around and be like, they did that like out of tune, that wasn't in the correct rhythm, or something like that. I'm like constantly analyzing, or sometimes I'll just hear certain bits and pieces of music, and I'd be like, they borrowed this from this band who did this like 10 years ago. So I'm, at this point, I cannot enjoy music the way others do. I'm like constantly thinking about everything in there, and that's probably, it kind of sucks because then I'm kind of judging. But in the other aspect, I guess it's kind of cool that I went to school and I studied enough to be able to do stuff like that.
Which college did you go to?
I attended Cal State LA, so I stayed pretty local. I went there from 2013 to 2019, so about 6 years to do my bachelor's. And it happens, 4-year plan isn't always feasible for some people, especially in music. So if you go on to study music, you have to take so many classes.
Really?
So maybe like a typical college major would take about like maybe 4 classes a semester. I was taking 9.
Damn.
Taking 9 classes. So anyone who's
Jesus.
studying music or wants to study music, you're gonna learn real soon what that means. But you have to take so many classes, and they're not all just like regular classes you have to sit in. There's one class that's like you have to go attend performances, and you have to like write something about them or bring like the concert programs. One of the other classes is piano. So everyone, no matter what your instrument is or if your voice, you have to learn piano.
Yeah.
Theory classes, so learning like the rules of music, learning how to read it, so like musicianship, sight singing. You have to take your ensemble classes, whether it's like choir, band, orchestra, I don't know what else there is. You have to do private lessons, and that's all on top of doing like your general education courses, like your math, your English, science. So it gets really crazy if you're a music major.
Since you mentioned about instruments, which instruments did you enjoy playing the most?
So I grew up just singing. That's all I ever did. So I didn't really play an instrument too much. But when I got to college, again, everyone obviously learns piano in there. But if you're an education major, you have to take like a basics course of all the instrument types. So you have your woodwinds, brass, percussion, strings. I did not like brass. That was not none of them were my
No?
instrument. I tried it out. I couldn't do it. Strings, I'd say I was pretty good at playing upright bass. So just like hammering it out there. And for woodwinds, I'd say I did particularly well playing flute. So those two were my favorites just because I had an easier time with them.
What's your favorite music video?
You see, I'm not a really big visual person. So music videos and stuff, like, I don't know about those because also MTV isn't around to do music videos anymore. It was more something I had in the background and I was getting ready for school as a kid, but I didn't really pay attention to music videos so much. I wasn't for visuals. I was always more audio.
What would you say is the worst song you've ever heard? Like, not technically worst, just like it hit you in like the worst way. Like, it was terrible.
Let's see. Okay, this has a little bit of lore behind it that I can't exactly go into. But there is this song that I found through Reddit. Yeah, I look around there sometimes. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
It's good.
Happens to the best of us.
Sometimes I'm like doom scrolling. And I forgot what kind of forum I came across, but it had a link to a song. And I clicked on it and I'm listening to it and it was like an electronic song. But I don't know how that kind of idea came out of someone's head. It was just kind of terrible to listen to. You just felt really uncomfortable listening to it. Like goosebumps, hairs went up, but in all the worst ways possible.
You're just like in shock of how terrible it was. Just like,
Kind of. And it wasn't like with any other instrument or voices. It was just like electronic noises that, at least in my head, didn't make sense. So I don't want to say particularly it was really bad because, I mean, music is music depending who you ask. But not my taste. Not at all.
what did your Spotify Wrapped look like this year?
Let's see. Let me look it up. I can never remember these. All I know is that I wasn't really satisfied this year. All right. There's obviously like a lot of hardcore in there.
Yeah.
But I hate how these are like Instagram stories and like you can't zoom.
Oh yeah.
Well,
you gotta
like,
watch the whole little video.
Yeah, you gotta like watch the whole thing. So I'm watching the whole sandwich thing happen right now.
In the meantime, what's your favorite viral TikTok songs?
I'm not on TikTok, to be honest.
Oh, really?
I am not on TikTok. I have the app because I know people send me things and I'm like, okay, I'd rather look at it through the app than look at it like through like the browser format because it's just kind of stupid. But I'm not on TikTok. All I know is that like some of those viral songs, I get tired of them real quick. Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, some of the songs that like I listen to go viral on there, and I'm like, I don't want to listen to this anymore. Like one of the most recent ones was it was a song by Bad Omens, and it was just dominating for a good bit. I can't even remember the name of the song anymore just because I didn't want to listen to it. But afterwards, like I couldn't listen to the song anymore. And then I recently went to a concert of them, like back in October. So they played the song, and I was kind of just like upset over it. Even they were like, you know, this song went viral on TikTok for some reason. Like I don't know why, but I guess here it is. So, all right. My top genres for Spotify ended up being metalcore. I don't know where pop punk came from. Progressive post-hardcore, rock, and metallic hardcore, which I don't really know what it means. I kind of wish they would like pinpoint what bands fall into that category. Yeah. There was a lot of Vitamin String Quartet. If you don't know who that is, it's a string quartet that essentially makes covers of music, of any kind of music. There's video game music, music from anime, K-pop, rock music, anything. And they make it into string quartet, like almost like classical kind of music. Yeah. And I would play that a lot in my music appreciation classes for doing work. I'll have music in the background, so it dominated my playlist. So it's like number 2 on there. I'm like, oh. So because of that, I got Apple Music to kind of prevent that happening next year.
How do you feel about
Damn.
like slow and reverbed songs? Like, do you think they're good?
I think they're good. I don't want to say if it's particularly done right, because that's very subjective, but I feel like if it's done too much, it just kind of leaves a bad taste for me. Like, you have to use it kind of like sprinkle it here and there. Not too much of something, isn't always a good thing. But, I'm for it. I like it.
So, like, what made you want to become a choir teacher?
I didn't know I wanted to be a choir teacher. All right, I'm going to adjust myself here. I feel like I'm turning too much. I slept wrong, so, like, I can't turn this side so much. Yeah, that happens when you get old. Okay. So, as a kid, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Like, I figured I wanted to be a teacher because I started thinking about it. And, as you're growing up, you're all around teachers, like, all the time for years. I mean, kinder through 12th grade. If you went to preschool, if you went to daycare or something, like, they're all teachers. So, I guess to me, that was kind of like the only career choice that I was the most familiar with. But then as I got to high school, I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a teacher. I didn't know anything. And I think a lot of people, especially right now, feel that certain way. Like, you don't know what you want to do. You don't even know what you're doing next week. So how can you figure out the career you're going to do for like the next 30, 40, 50 years of your life? So I did choir all 4 years here. I just got into it. I liked it, and I stuck around with it. But it never occurred to me to be a choir director. So as college deadlines were coming up, I kind of just threw something. I'm like, all right, I'm not really good at math. Not that I don't like English, but I don't want to, I guess, do it. Science, not even going to bother with it. So I didn't really know what to do, and I just put music as an option to major in. When the choir director I had at the time found out, she was like, oh, well, you have to audition into this. I'm like, oh, I don't know. So I was kind of like freaking out after that. She helped me with a few audition songs, and then I went to Cal State LA to go audition. I found out that I got into the school, and then I got into the program. Because what happens is if you get into the school, but you don't get into the program, then you don't really get to do music. So I got in, luckily. And then from there, I'm like, I don't know, let's see where this takes me. I didn't really have the plan to be a music teacher. And I was in the education pathway just because at the time I heard a lot of, you can't make a career with music. It's kind of like a dead end. So I'm like, all right, I'll do education just to be safe, see what I can get. And I guess I just further got into it, and I started getting opportunities. Funny enough, at first, not teaching, it was performance opportunities. So I'd sing in like different places. And it wasn't until I graduated that I later started getting like the teaching opportunities. And somehow it took me a bit, but it's kind of like, this is where I fit in, this is where I feel the most comfortable, and kind of can just be myself. And luckily I picked the right career move for me. I never felt any way about changing my major, which again, no shame at all if you do that. Sometimes it just happens as well. But I never had to go through that, which I'm very grateful for.
Did you had a job when you were at MHS?
Not at MHS, no. So I didn't have to go to work at the time. I know a lot of students have jobs nowadays. I didn't, and I didn't know many people at the time my age who had jobs. Most of them got them after graduating, or if they were working like part-time while attending college as well.
Yeah.
Did you have any jobs throughout college?
Yeah, I got a job at a warehouse. It was like similar to Home Depot, so working with like lumber and all this stuff. And I worked there for about 5 years. So it was like my steady, consistent job through college. And that's unfortunately what made me kind of not exactly fall behind, but because of the job, I didn't take all the classes I needed to take to graduate within those 4 years. So I stayed the 6, and I have no regrets about that because those 2 extra years that I stayed, I met some awesome people who also helped me get me to where I am today. So kind of happened for a reason. And while holding a job, I also did an internship, a paid internship conducting a community children's choir in Koreatown. So all those three at the same time. It was fun, but it wasn't fun that I didn't get to sleep at all.
So do you have any favorite trends from 2009 to 2013?
2009 to 13. I think it was the hair was a really big trend. Like clear as you can see for me. But it's just the hair was a huge trend. I mean, people were also playing around with like, their clothing, seeing what they have, and I saw it be more creative even now. So that never really changed. But I think hair was a really big thing. Like the colors, the cuts that you can do with it, the styles. So there was this really big trend that I did not get into where people would do kind of like the raccoon tails. I think that's what they were called. So like they'd color their bangs in like this form, or they did like this like half shaved head or like this undercut as well. I didn't do them, but I appreciate them. They were not for me, but it was just like all the colors you can do, all the different styles, the choppiness. So yeah.
What do you like the most about teaching?
In my particular case, one, I get to sing, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Two, I really get to share my knowledge and my love for what I do with others who feel the same way. So with my students, I'll share new music with them, and at first maybe they'll be like, I don't know about that, especially if it's like in a different language, because it starts freaking them out a little.
Yeah.
So here's another thing if you're a vocalist in college, you have to learn how to sing in different languages. So you have your English. I want to say most of us speak Spanish, or at least understand it. We have to learn French, German, Italian, Latin. I learned a little bit of Russian as well. Whoa. So I can't understand what I'm saying, but I can read them. So I can fake my way through. But things like that, sharing that sort of knowledge and then seeing them get, I guess, excited over it and start to share that kind of love with me it's pretty rewarding. And just seeing the students grow in something that they really enjoy doing. What
qualities make a great teacher?
Repeat that again.
Oh,
sorry.
my bad. What qualities make a great teacher?
Let's see. At least in my case, when I found really great teachers, it's the teachers who really persevere. They don't give up, which I mean is also a student quality, persevere, don't give up, keep trying. But sometimes as a teacher, you can kind of feel defeated with students who maybe they're just not understanding something. You don't know if maybe you're doing something wrong, but really just having that drive to get better and, find different ways to help engage the students and what other ways can they learn. So that, again, just, I guess, having that commitment, but also seeing if they can make things fun. I mean, not everything can be fun at all times, but there are some things I guess you can kind of like indulge into, make things a little more exciting. I try to whenever I'm teaching, whether it's choir or music appreciation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you just got to move on.
So what are your top 5 favorite video game franchises?
I love Pokemon. Very first thing I ever played. Yeah, I see that in the background right there.
Blastoise, I see you.
I know.
Mega
all
Evolutions.
I know all the Mega Evolutions are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mega Evolutions were cool. That was a cool time. I'm pretty sad they got rid of that. So like goodbye.
What?
I know. Like I don't know why. But anywho, Pokemon always number one favorite. Specifically Gen 3 Pokemon. So Hoenn.
Oh, okay.
The all-time favorite.
What about X and Y?
I mean, it's cool, but like, I don't know. I don't know. I'll go on. I hate it, but I love it, but I hate it. Destiny. I spent way too much time and money on the game. It cost me a grade in college. That's how bad it got.
Oh my god.
It cost me a
What?
grade. Yeah, like it was, I think, a history class I was taking. Yeah, I know. Don't ever do that. Don't let those things like make you fail classes. It's college. Don't fail. I just got way too into it, and I was staying up like 4 or 5 a.m. playing.
Jesus.
Yeah, with like friends, and like my mom would get home from work because she worked like an overnight job at the time, and so I would hear her car pull up, and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Just like turn off the game and like run to bed. But yeah, it took so much of my time and like interest, and I probably would have graduated earlier if it weren't for that. No, I'm kidding. It was only one class. I made it up and I did better. But yeah, I made so many friends with that game. I made friends in like Florida as well. So
Wow.
yeah, it kind of brought different like groups of us together. And the cool thing is that because of the friends I met through this video game, I still talk to them to this day.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was 10 years ago. Yeah, 10 years ago. So lifelong friends, I guess, at this point. Third. I really like Halo. Kind of goes along with Destiny because, you know, the companies and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halo is... I know the last few games were not the greatest, but, you know, I still have a love for it just because it's something that really got me into wanting to play video games. I have this, like, specific memory when I was, like, around probably 11 or 12. This is around, I think, when Halo 3 came out. I went over to a friend's house, and my parents didn't really let me go over to a friend's house, so I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually out of my house. I'm with friends. And he had an Xbox, and he had like a few of us over, so we got to like split screen play together. And I had like no awareness and like no control of like how to play like these games at the time. So I was like super bad at it, but just like the fun of playing with others, and like that just kind of like started my love for it. And now I'll still play whenever I have the time. Let's see, that's 3, 4. At this point, I really don't know. I don't think I can name more. I like playing Smash Bros. A lot.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. Mario or Sonic? Oh wait, are you still naming their fifth one?
I need a fifth one, but I guess I can't really narrow it down too much.
Oh okay.
What'd you think of the Halo TV show?
As a standalone, it was good for what it was. There were parts that I didn't like. There were some parts I did not like.
He took off his mask.
He did take off his mask. That and gosh, I forgot her name. That's how unimportant she was.
Oh my god.
Like that one episode that was like all about her. Like that had nothing to do with the plot at all. I'm like, I kind of just wasted an hour of my time for this. Like, what was the point? I had like no connection or relation to her. I'm like, she can just kind of like go off. I didn't care. But for what it was, I'd give it like 6 out of 10. It killed some time.
Are you gonna watch season 2?
Yes.
Oh really?
Yeah. Why? I don't know. I guess to judge it more.
Just bully it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bully it. They need to hear it. It deserves to be bullied if it needs to.
What'd you think of the fight scenes? They were
Oh my god.
They were like so weird. They went first person and then third person. It made no sense.
The fight scene in episode 1 was terrible.
I know.
Oh my god.
They're not great. They're not great, no. I have to admit it. As much as I guess I liked it again for what it is, I mean, it was... They need to bring better people who know video games to make movies about, or TV shows about video games. It's kind of like making live action anime movies. The Dragon Ball Z one was so bad.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Terrible. Okay, but yeah.
What's your favorite video game movie or TV show?
I'll have to say that the Sonic movie was actually really good.
Which one? Second or first?
The first one is better. The sequel isn't always as good as the first movie, but even as a sequel, I still think it was really, really good. But first Sonic movie was really good.
Do you like Jim Carrey in it?
He's an interesting man. He's an interesting man. I don't know if I liked him in it or not, but he can play some pretty wacky characters.
That's what makes him so funny.
That's why. So I think as like a Robotnik, it was pretty good.
He definitely made a few choices.
Yeah. Mario movie was actually pretty good too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, pleasantly surprised with that one. Although I didn't know what to expect with Chris Pratt being Mario.
He did a good job.
It's just his voice.
It doesn't fit.
Did you like Charlie Day as Luigi?
What's his name? Who plays Toad? He was great.
Get out of here!
What?
No, who was it? I forgot.
forgot his
It
name.
was Keenan
Michael Thompson.
Keenan
Keenan.
Peele.
Or
From Key and Peele, right?
Yeah, the other guy.
The other
yeah. Jordan Peele, you know.
No, it's yeah.
I forgot their names, but yeah. No,
Yeah.
actually, it was pretty good. So pleasantly surprised with it, even with Chris Pratt playing Mario. So I'll give that one a pass.
Jack Black did a good job too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the song? Peaches?
Peaches, yeah. Peaches.
There was a concert that happened, like a video game music concert that happened sometime a few months ago. And Jack Black came out in like full Bowser costume singing Peaches. And I'm like, this is the one concert I wanted to go to. And I completely missed it. And I'm still mad at myself for that.
Damn. Yeah.
But oh well.
What about The Last of Us?
I actually didn't watch it.
Oh.
I hear so many good things about it, but I have just not put myself to watching it. I'll do it at some point. Maybe for a break.
Have you played the games?
Parts of it. I haven't played fully. I know a lot about the games. Well, I guess enough, but I just haven't really played it through.
Have you played any of the FNAF games?
I am a weenie to jump scares. I know the games. I know the lore. Like, I love looking into like all the lore of like games and stuff. And I'll be like scrolling for hours. It's like midnight, and I'm like, all right, so this character's significance is, or like whatever it is. So I did watch the movie, also fairly well. I know I didn't follow the lore completely, but you know, again, for what it was really good. But again, I'm not a big fan of jump scares. So I'll just like see friends play it from afar, and I'm like covering my eyes, having just like a little spot open like this, and then as soon as something comes up or I feel it, I'm like.
So you didn't watch the FNAF movie?
I did watch it.
Oh, okay.
No, I did watch it. That was fine, but just the games.
What did you
There's
think?
something about like certain art styles that creep me out even more.
What did you think of the babysitter as a character? Just a shrug. She was there.
How'd you reacted when she died?
That one was a little more.
What?
Well, just kind of, I don't know, just kind of like that shock. But like babysitter there, I'm like, whatever.
How did you think Matthew Lillard did as William Afton?
He took that role really, really well. I thought it was amazing. I still saw him as like Shaggy or Scooby-Doo, and I'm never gonna be able to see him any other way. But I think he did a really good job with that role. So I think there's supposed to be like a second movie.
Yeah.
Right. And he's supposed to, continue with it, hopefully. So fingers crossed it goes well. But, super awesome dude in that.
Which video game character came out first, Sonic or Kirby?
I don't know how old Sonic is, but I think Kirby's like 30 years old.
It's actually Sonic.
I didn't know Sonic. That's one I don't know very well.
Do you have a favorite Big Shaw memory from MHS?
Big Shaw? There was... This happened, I believe, my sophomore year? No. Yes, sophomore year. He had brought these, the jelly beans, the ones that are the mystery flavors. Either they taste really good or there's some sort of like weird, taste like wet socks or something.
Yeah.
So he passed those out in class to like a few of us. Not everyone got one.
Okay.
So I think this was like an algebra 2 class. So he passed them out. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. And I forgot what the flavors were, but it was sounded like something really good or really bad. And it was that specific flavor that I was either, again, really good or really bad. The other ones were like, they're okay, or they're like, they could be bad. But I remember I took a bite out of it and I ran to like the trash can that's like outside of his room.
God.
Worst experience ever. I never tried a jelly bean after that.
You're traumatized.
I am. So trauma started in his room.
Did he regret doing that, or
I don't think so.
he didn't do it in my sophomore year?
No, I don't think there was any regret.
How did you navigate the 2016 Pokemon Go explosion?
So at the time, I had a really bad phone and the battery died quicker than everyone else's because that thing was a battery killer. I really tried getting into Pokemon Go because I loved the idea of going out, but just for some reason it wasn't for me. But I love seeing like people going out to catch all these Pokemon. You know, there's a Pokemon, say for example, at Doubles over here that everyone would go out and battle. So I would say it was probably a time where most of us knew what world peace could really be like. Everyone was outside. Everyone was having fun. Like no one was fighting with each other. So that's the closest we've ever gotten to world peace. And I don't think we've gotten there since. So there needs to be another Pokemon Go explosion or something.
What's your favorite Squirtle evolution?
I mean, I think I just like to stay with Squirtle just because I just like them to be small. Oh. But also, it's I just like him the way he looks with the Squirtle Squad.
Oh yeah.
With the Squirtle Squad. It's super cool. But yeah, small Pokemon are cute.
If Blastoise held a meet and greet, would you go?
I mean, yeah. But I think it'd be a little scary because he's got like 2 water cannons like shooting right here. I'm like, just like looking out for them or something.
What's your favorite Pokemon?
Let's see. So there's 2. My favorite evolution is Vaporeon. But my favorite starter is Gen 3 Torchic because I was a fire starter through and through. Until this recent Pokemon game, I picked these names are so I can't remember them.
Is it like
Grass.
the new one?
Grass. Yeah, the new one.
Is it the owl or?
No, that one's not the new one anymore. That's Owlet. No, Rowlet. Sprigatito, there we go. Sprigato, something like that. It's like this like green cat thing. That's that's like one of the only times I ever picked the grass starter. But I'm mostly a fire starter, so Torchic and then getting Blaziken at the very end. But probably my favorite is Zora and Zoroark. And it looks like this kind of like wolf kind of thing. But I think the reason I really like it a lot is because it's like this black and red scheme, and its shiny is like a black and light blue scheme. So I think it's just because of the shiny form.
How would you rate the Detective Pikachu movie?
I give it a good 7 just because I did not expect Ryan Reynolds to give a good Pikachu performance. Just I imagined something like so small and timid, not something that can like pull jokes.
Did you like Justice Smith in it?
Yeah, he was actually really good. I to be honest, I never really heard of him before. Again, I'm not the biggest movie buff, but I still think it was a pretty good movie with bringing like all these Pokemon to life and seeing like the different sides of it. But he put up a pretty good performance as well.
How would you rate the Netflix One Piece?
I don't like One Piece.
Really?
I'm not a big fan of One Piece, no. Do not ask me about One Piece.
Do you have any favorite celebrity encounters?
I don't think I've encountered celebrities so much as I never really spent so much time in like Hollywood or those areas per se. I've had artist encounters with the bands that I listen to a lot, especially I guess specifically because of like Warped Tour, or like if you hang around before or after a concert, you'll see them like walking around. But actual celebrity, I was at the LA Children's Hospital like some time ago visiting someone there. So I was like really young. But I did get to see and like brush up against like Cole and Dylan Sprouse.
Oh.
And I'm trying to think who else was there. I think Brenda Song was there too, and there was one more person. I just can't remember it, but it was kind of like a Sweet Life cast thing. But there was like another Disney show cast there that I can't remember. But those were the only two that I can. So closest I've gotten to a celebrity encounter.
Do you think movies should be anime should be adapted into live action movies?
I would say if they can do it well, sure, but I'd like things to say animation just because there's like a certain magic to it that you can't really replicate live action. So like how we said, like the action scenes of some of these shows are just they're really silly. But if they were to be done like animated, like I think it'd be really cool to stay that way and just part of the appreciation of anime is just really the art style and kind of like the emotions that come through certain like stills and whatnot. And like, they change like the colors, the shades to really showcase those kind of emotions. So if anime can stay anime, I think that'd be cool.
So we're going to quickly go into our mailbag section. We just have one question that we're going to spotlight, and it is, why is your hair purple?
I feel like purple is my better color, but also I like keeping my hair silver. But silver is a really hard color to get. So when I can't get down to silver, I'm too lazy to, I'll just put purple over it. It's the color that fades out the best. Because if you got green, if you have blue, it fades to green. If you got red, it fades to like orange. Mm-hmm. So I'll stick to purple. Purple fades out to like lighter purple, or I got like some silver somewhere here.
Is Mr. Escobar gothic or emo? This is from the mailbag.
Oh, God. He's not emo for sure. I'll tell you that. I don't know so much about gothic, but he tends to lean over to that side more. Emo is more of a my time kind of thing. Gothic was like when I was growing up. I was still too young to really understand it. Then like the whole scene emo thing kind of came. I was never seen. We have to make that distinction. It's not the same. And then like now we're getting like a revival of these things. So
yeah,
now that I'm old enough, there was this saying that like fashion and stuff comes around like every 20 years. I've lived at least 20 years now, so I see those fashions come around. This is my first run through. I'm like, oh, it's true.
How often are you confused as a student here at MHS?
Way too often.
Really?
I have a lot of students that come in looking for a teacher, and they look over to my accompanist, who's also awesome, Ms. Manukian, and they think she's a teacher. Or if she's not in there, they'll look around the room really confused and like, I'm right here. I've almost gotten tardy swept before.
Oh my God.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So my whole thing is that like I have to walk around campus with my keys.
Yeah.
So people know. I did have an instance once when I first got here. It was like the first 2 weeks I started working here, where I took my class out to the gym because Mr. Curry was using my room for the band festival. So he had a bunch of bands come in. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take them over there, play some basketball or something. And I had someone asking me where my class is, and they kind of meant it as where's your class supposed to be? Why are you here? And I'm like, no, I'm the class here. It's me.
Who would win in a fight, Big Shaw or Little Shaw?
I think I would say Big Shaw just because, it's Big Shaw.
He thinks it's Little Shaw.
But, Little Shaw could be, he could be faster.
Yeah,
So-
Little Shaw the goat.
So, I don't know.
Oh, do you have any siblings?
Oh, man. Yeah, I have 2 older sisters and a younger sister and a younger brother. But yes, I have a sibling here who does attend school here
Currently?
currently.
When y'all gonna have that boy Tyson on?
Tyson, we see you. We see you.
Who's Tyson?
I'm going to pretend like I'm supposed to know who that is.
Yeah, well.
Wait. Why is Milk dead?
What? Is that from anime or something?
No, look, it's right there.
I don't know what that is.
What?
I mean, it's dead to me because I don't drink milk. I'm lactose, but like,
Oh,
I don't know if that's referring to that.
Down with milk. No milk allowed.
That's it. Milk alternatives only here.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, well, those are all our questions for today. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next episode.